So this is our third or fourth video on trigonometry. So we're going to solve maybe one or two more problems. So let's say we have secant square theta minus 1. So you have to simplify this one. So secant square equal to 1 minus cosine square theta minus 1. This equals to 1 minus, if you cosine square theta divided by cosine square theta. So this is equal to 1 minus cosine square is sine square theta. Sine square theta over cosine square theta. So that is equal to tangent square theta. So I think that was pretty straightforward. We only had to apply the formula sine square theta plus cos square theta equal to 1. So the other thing which you would like to discuss today is about the graph of sine and cosine. So as you probably know, the few things it would always help to memorize is the standard values of sine 30, sine 60, sine 90. So sine 30 degree is equal to 0.5, sine 60 equal to 0.87, sine 90 equal to 1, sine 0 equal to 0. Now the way sine and cosine is kind of converse, that inverse almost. What that means is that there is always a difference of 90 degrees. What that means is that if sine 90 degrees is this, then cosine 0 is equal to 1. So this is sort of this, and then cosine 30 equal to sine 60 degree. So let me choose a different color so that it's a little bit better to look at. So this is this. So now cosine 60, so cosine 30 equal to sine 60 equal to 0.87, and cosine 60 equal to sine 30 equal to 0.5, and cosine 0 equal to 1, which is sine 90 degree, and cosine 90 degree equal to 0, which is sine 0 degree. So if you see, the sine and cosine are really the reverse, and if you try to draw the graph of sine, it's like a, so this is sort of the graph. So if you see, this is 0 and this is 1 and sort of this is 0.5. So see, if you see, this is 30 degree, this is 90 degree, this is probably 60 degree. So if you see, as you see, the values of sine, this is again is minus 1. So this is 90 degree, this is 180 degree, this is 60, 120 degree, this is 150 degree. So this is 30 degree interval. So and for every 180 degree, so this is 180 degree, this is 360 degree, it cuts the x-axis. So if you think this is x-axis, so one problem could be, what is sine 150 degree? So sine 150 degree is same as sine 30 degree. And again here, if you put sine, so this is sine 360 degree, so 360 plus 30 is 390. So you can think, if you have this graph in mind, or you can visualize it, it is very easy for you to figure out what are the different values at different levels. Now if you draw the cosine graph, as you see, cosine is just the opposite, so cosine would be just the inverse. So that means cosine 0 would start with here, which is 1, and cosine 30 degree is let's see, and cosine 90 degree is 0. So like this it will start, and something like this. So cosine 180 degree would be minus 1. So one more thing which you may want to get from these graphs is really the, after how many degrees the curve repeats itself. What I meant by that is that, let's say if you have okay, let me choose a different color, maybe I choose red. So for example, let's say sine 30, which is our this graph. So sine 30 degree is 0.5. Now if you see, it comes all the way, and then this is 180, this is 270, this is 360, and this is 390. So it's repeating itself almost after 360 degree. So 360 degree is for sine. So that means sine of 390 degree is equal to sine of 30 degree, which is basically sine of 360 plus 30 equal to sine 30. In the same way, you can see sine of 360 plus 60 would be same as sine 60, which is 0.87. And you can try to get it from by looking here. So sine here, it would be around sine 360 plus 60 is around 420. In the similar way, you can also find out the cosine theta's repetition length. So after that, there is couple of more things which I'd like to discuss here with whatever little time we have. There's something called pi. Now we all know, we always express the angle so far in terms of degrees. So we say 30 degree, we have 60 degree. There is one more ways we can express angles, which is called pi radian. What is that? Is 2 pi radian is equal to 360 degree. Now this came from the fact that if you remember the circle, okay, that's not exactly a circle, but anyway, for this example, now circle, the circumference is 2 pi r, as we know, and the angle made at the center is 360 degree. So from there we say 2 pi radian equal to 360 degree. So pi radian is equal to 360 minus 2 equal to 180 degree. So pi radian is really 180 degree. So let's say 45 degree. 45 degree equal to what radian? If you have to express it in terms of radian, since we know pi radian is 180 degree, so 45 degree is pi 180 degree divided by 4, which is pi by 4 radian, because 45 degree is 180 degree divided by 4, correct? And 180 degree is as we know pi radian. So pi by 4 radian. Like that you can say 60 degree is equal to pi by 3 radian. So I think that's pretty much about the trigonometry we have, and I'll try to see if we can solve a few more difficult problems.